Alright, everybody, so if you're a big fan of Jeepers Creepers, which I know you are, not only do we have the truck here, but we have my good friend Jonathan that I just met, now we're best friends. So come on over here to the center stage. We're about to do a little Q&A panel, so if there's anything that you want to know behind the scenes about the acting, about the creature himself, here is your chance to see him and talk to him. Remember everybody, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Good morning out there. Everybody awake? Sunday morning after a late Saturday night. It's late for me. I was at the Rocky Horror Picture Show until much too late. Anyway, it's fine.
We got the concert after that.
I missed the concert. Yeah.
We were there until 2 a.m. That was a long day.
Yeah.
Very long day.
I had some business to take care of out behind the building, so.
And he promised me that he wasn't going to fly away right now. He's going to stay with you guys, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I'm here for the rest of the day.
Alright, so basically, I have my own list of questions in my head because it's like, wow, I can't believe you're here. But I know some of the people in the audience, they're going to have some questions, and if you do have questions, just raise your hand, like this. You can wave it around. That's your truck, somebody's playing with it. So
He's a little pissed off right now. He's possessive. I'm over here talking to you guys, and a little mad about that. So
he misses his owner.
Yeah.
All right. So what was it like playing the role of the creeper, and what inspired you to do the body language and movie? Because I remember the one scene, and this was the scariest scene in all of it to me. Out of all the movies, the one scene where you're actually picking up bodies and just chucking them down the little tunnel thing.
Yes.
And it's like you didn't even care, and you just looked up and you just keep on doing it. That was really scary. Like I could actually picture that happening in the real world. Like I was like, whew. Yes, you Russians are very, very scary, but check this out. So, what inspired you to do that, and how did you get yourself into that head?
Great question. So, when I first got the call to audition for the character, I was just an actor in LA, looking for a job, like every other actor, like the other 100,000 actors out there. And the call came to audition for this part, and my agent said, so they want you to audition for this part. It's this crazy character. And I said, well, send me the pages. Normally you get a script and you go in and read the lines or whatever. So I go with this character for how many lines? It's like, well, what do they want me to do in the audition? I said, well, they just want you to create the character and come in the room as the character. And so it's really interesting. I had about a week to think about it. And, playing a character is so great, it doesn't speak. And you think about all the ways that you communicate without speaking. And you were always communicating like with behavior. And so that's all I had with this character. It was the way he moved, and everything he did, his behavior was how he communicated. And so it was going to be so important to everything, So I went into the animal world and I did a lot of research about different types of predators. And I wanted to put a character together that wasn't one super predator, but was the best of a lot of super predators, right? But yet, I wanted to hold on to the human element in the character, which I think obviously you get in the role, because I wanted to tap into something that we couldn't understand, but we could recognize. I think that's much scarier. There's something there that's familiar to us. It makes it all the more unsettling. This could really, you alluded to it, the fact that this could really happen. This isn't some strange demon from another world that nobody understands. This is somebody that walks like us, that acts like us, and it might just be out in a church dumping bodies down a pipe one day, So. That answer your question?
Yeah, that answers my question. That was a good answer. Right. I loved it. So out of the time period that you played the creature, what was your favorite kill scene? Which one did you really enjoy? Like, man, that worked out so well. It worked out better than I thought it would.
Man, there's so many. One of the ones that I love was working with Eileen Brennan, the cat lady. so great. Just because I like working with her. I mean, she's a legendary actress, right? And a great scene. So that's one of the ones that stands out in my mind. I've had so many. One of the very first ones on top of the car, cutting the cop's head off. That was great. And there's so much more to that scene, and unfortunately you guys didn't get to see. When I'm on the road, I cut the cop's head off and I throw it. Of course, I'm doing it for the benefit of kids, right? And then I take his tongue out of his mouth and standing there on the road and I'm trying to make it as grisly as possible. And I pull out the tongue's hanging there through my mouth, and I turn around and I look at the kids and I hear Victor, the director, holding the head, and Victor, the director, he said, "What are you gonna do with the head?" And it's just an instinct. I just stood up in the air and I just kicked it, punted it like a football. And it was spinning across, and the camera actually, the DP, followed the head. And so you see the head just like spinning across, trailing blood. And that was a fun scene. Unfortunately, we didn't get to show it, because back then in those days, the MPAA had restrictions about that, right? And of course, 3 years later, Salt comes out, right? So, but we never got to print that scene. That was a great kill. I enjoyed that. I mean, all my kills have a special place in my heart, really. To be honest with you. And I'm not done yet. So.
So is it talk about bringing that your character with you again? Because there was one that we're not going to mention. We're not going to mention it yet, because it doesn't exist in my head, and maybe never will. But is there a time where you're ready to jump back on that role?
I would jump on that role in 10 minutes.
All right, let's do
this.
this.
I really would. I mean, it was such an honor and so much fun. And it's hard. It was just a fun character to play. I mean, I hope that translated on screen. I mean, I was chewing the scenery when I was playing that character. I loved it so much. Probably a little something disturbing about that in there, that I loved it that much, but I really enjoyed it that much. And I'd do it tomorrow. It was a lot of fun.
What was the physical hardest thing about being dressed up in that character and doing it performing?
Doing it what?
Yeah, the performance.
Well, just, like you might imagine, like, you gotta push a performance through a lot of makeup. And the Creeper's a very physical role. So, it's not like, I've got this big duster on, right? And so there's a lot of limitations to the physicality because of all the makeup and stuff like that. So that was the hardest thing, was just, I have so many scenes I can think of that were really difficult because of the fact that I was wearing the big duster and had all the makeup on, and you just can't move like you normally move. You have to really put a lot of thought before every scene into how you're going to execute things physically. And plus, I was wearing contacts that made me completely blind in the first movie. I don't know if you guys realize that, but in the extra close-up scenes, they wanted my eyes to look cataract, kind of like an old dog. But the problem with that was the contacts made me completely blind. It was literally like looking through this tablecloth right here. I could see, like, if somebody were to come up right next to me, I could see a shadow, but I couldn't see anything else. And so they would pop those contacts in right before I would do a scene, and I'd have to memorize everything and meticulously go through all the action and memorize everything. They'd pop the contacts in and they'd call action and I'd shoot the scene. And I only did it when the camera was right up in my face. But I had a couple scenes like that scene in the first movie where I drop onto the car hood and the kids are in the car. Y'all remember that one? And they're looking through the windshield at me. That I was dropped from about, maybe 8-10 feet onto the hood of the car, and that was blind. So things like that, just ratcheted up the level of difficulty of all the physical stuff I had to do.
Yeah, that sounds very painful, actually.
So very painful.
Me personally, I don't like falling 2 inches from the floor. That's like, 18 feet from the floor.
All in a day's work, man.
And you're blind, it's
Yeah.
like, close your eyes, just wait for the impact. Yeah, I'll pass, but you can keep doing it.
Yeah.
I love that about you. So, what inspired you to get into the horror movies and stuff like that? Did you have an icon that you looked up to when you were a child?
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't, and I remember I was raised in the South in a fairly conservative home, and my parents didn't watch horror films, and nobody in my circle really watched horror films. And when I got this role, again, as I mentioned to you, I was just an actor, just happy to have a role. And I remember after the first movie became popular, I'd do interviews with like journalists and things like this, Q&As. And I remember thinking, being self-conscious about it, because everybody wanted to know, where did you get your inspiration from? Who were your favorite horror actors? And I was like, man, I sound like a loser, not having any favorite horror film. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, it was probably a gift that I didn't have some preconceived notion of what some actor did years ago. Because even as much as you try to forget that stuff, it's still in your brain. I really didn't have that. So I really looked at the role, I think, organically, and just kind of let it fill me the way it was going to fill me. And that's how I approached the role. So I think that it served me in a way, because I wasn't playing something that I remembered, or I wasn't doing an impersonation of anybody else, right? So. And now, not to interrupt you, but and of course now I'm in the horror genre, and I'm a huge fan, right? But I didn't come into it that way,
Right. Yeah, because I talked to you, because you're one of those characters, and the way that you do it, as you said, he doesn't really have a voice, so everything is, all about the body language and how you perceive it, and that's like, Jason has his way, and you have your way, which is very unique. Art the Clown has his way, and Art the Clown, I was talking to him, and his inspiration was more like, the Charlie Chaplin Come Back in the Day, and I was like, that's a really cool thing to look at. I never even thought about that genre being an inspiration or something else. But I like your take on it, that, it's original, 100% you. I love that.
Well, and I had, one of the cool things is, Cooper's been around for a couple thousand years, maybe, close to that. So it was fun to think about all the generational stuff, right? Like you're wearing a really long jacket right here, but back in the day, when they used to wear capes, there was like a way of walking with capes, when you think about it. You can imagine you can't take a sharp corner, get caught and stuff, right? So there's a way to walk with a cape. It's like, so I researched that a little bit, and they would use their arms and like get the capes out of the way when they would come around things, and so there's like a way of being that obviously we don't have to do today, but it's a practical thing a few hundred years ago, right? So I found little ways to put things from different generations into the character. Like the very first time you see the creeper walk on the road, the kids are in the car, and the creeper's walking in the distance, and you see him pacing back and forth. You can notice that I'm like using my hands with the cape, so there's different ways to infuse different generational things, behaviors from different generations. I had a blast doing that stuff. So much fun,
That's amazing. I didn't even talk about the kid thing. Now I'm going to be like sweeping around.
Yeah, but you think about it, right? It's like,
That's awesome. So does anybody down there have any questions for the creeper? Because I'm just talking to him a lot. I'm sorry, I'm taking up time. There we go, right in the front.
Hi. Hi, who are you?
I'm Shelly.
Hey, Shelly.
Over there in the corner with you, Robert. I have a question. When you had the cataracts and you were blind, losing that sense, did your intuition increase? Did you have moments of clarity where your spirit came to you more clear? Because I feel like if you lost that sense, that other senses would be sharpened while doing these things.
Yeah. I don't really recall that being the truth, because it was so technical to remember things. When you're acting, you got to remember positioning and camera angles and all those things, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes technically. So, And I would literally pop those things in right before we would shoot for obvious reasons, right? So I don't remember, but I do remember. I have some painful memories of being in those contacts. I mean, we shot the very first movie in Florida, in a swamp, basically. And I remember those scenes being blind. That's cutting out. I remember those scenes being blind. And we would shoot all night. And I was on that road, which was wet, of course. And laying on that road and in a swamp. I don't know if you spent much time in a swamp, but if you haven't, the mosquitoes.
It's in the backyard.
This is your backyard, and you understand. The mosquitoes are like, small birds, right? And they swarm. Is that any better? Good. They swarm right before the sun comes up, right? Because they're like feeding. And so I remember being blind, laying on that road, and hearing those mosquitoes coming in everywhere. And I was completely covered in makeup, and the only place they could get to was my eyelids, in between my eyes, right here. And so they were hitting the edges of my eyes, and so by the time I was done, my eyes were completely swollen. So it's a funny thing to remember about being blind. I remember those bugs coming in. So my senses were heightened about the killing mosquitoes. Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you, I also named my cat after you. His full name was Jeepers Creepers Peepers.
Jeepers Creepers Peepers.
I came here to say
Is JCP still with us?
he has since passed, but he lived to be about 18.
18? Well, he might be running around there somewhere still. You never know.
He's with me all the time.
Okay. Thanks, Shelley.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. My big question when it came to your costumes and that sort of the last scene where he kills Justin Long, gets murdered and all that stuff.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry, I was gonna say maybe I had to sing that again. But that whole body costume stuff with the wings and the back of that sword, is that also was it just like completely painted, or was that because I know that he didn't have his clothes on, he didn't have his shoes or anything, like he was fully bare, almost naked.
Yeah.
So,
You talking about the last scene in the
very
first
last
movie?
scene, yes.
Was he in a body costume, you mean?
Was it all body for it, or was it painted, or
I wasn't there for that. Yeah, I wasn't there for it. I actually was, Justin and I never met for the filming of that. We wanted to stay completely separate because I felt like if he knew who I was personally, or if I knew who he was, it might color our performance. It was really nice to have no concept of who Justin was. He didn't know who I was either. So we were just a mystery to each other. Our only interaction was when the camera was rolling, basically. So I wasn't around when he was shooting his scenes unless I was in the scene.
Yeah, was that a lot of the actors that you had to kind of separate yourself?
I was sequestered from everybody. Yeah, for 3 months. It was painful. So, yeah. Yeah, it was lonely. Which is good. I was pretty pissed off. So.
When you had to pick up his underwear and smell it, was it actual used underwear or was it kind of?
Was it actual used underwear or was it? I remember it being clean. Yeah. Yeah. Good question. I've never gotten that question before. So, congratulations.
So my main question is, of course, during the first and second movies, you had to do some kind of awkward things where you're kind of like sniffing them and putting your face against the glass and stuff. Did you ever just have to break character and just laugh for a second, or did you never have to break character like that?
No. When I was on the set as the creeper, I wasn't breaking a lot of character. No, I really wasn't. I mean, I did have some fun, but when we were shooting, I would say, I mean, particularly the second movie, I had a lot of fun because a lot of those actors, they were 18, 19, 20 years old. It was their first movie, and I was wearing the creeper makeup and costume around, and so I scared the shit out of them. I mean, I would go in the bathroom and I would hide in the next stall and pop over when they were going to the bathroom and stuff. I mean, I had a blast. Because you got all that stuff on, you might as well use it, right? But when we were shooting, you know, nothing was really, I was really in the character when I was shooting. As a matter of fact, a lot of those noises, none of that stuff was planned. A lot of the grunts and growls and noises that you hear from the creeper were just stuff that happened. And then Victor would say, we were shooting one time, Victor was like, one of the very first scenes, he was like, who's growling? You know, thinking that, you know, part of the crew or something were doing something. Where's that growling coming from, you know? And just me, yeah. So, yeah.
I have a question. Do you have to get your shirts specially made to keep your wings sort of unnoticeable in everyday life? And also, can you spread them out for us? Give us a demonstration of your wings.
My wings today, they're a little tired.
And you know,
I was flapping pretty hard last night, so they're tucked away. So.
and he, as I said in the beginning, he did promise that he wasn't going to do that and fly away. So don't make him break his promise with me.
Yeah, who saw that wing popping out in the first movie? Right? Anybody see that coming? But did you see that coming? Yeah. It's one of the things I really appreciate what they did, what Victor did with this movie, is he did a good job, I think, of giving himself the freedom to surprise you. You know, everybody always wants to know, what is the creeper? Where did he come from? They want to know all that stuff. And a lot of that stuff is intentionally left vague because, you know, Victor's feeling was, fortunately, as soon as you start telling people what the character is, you build a fence around them. Right? And but if you don't do that, you can reserve the right to have a wing pop up. Right? And so with the creeper movies, you know, the intent was always, we're going to save a little bit so we can, you really don't know what might happen. We're going to, with each subsequent movie, with each subsequent storyline, we're going to continue to surprise you. That's the thinking, right? And I mean, we could have made 12 of these. I'm sorry that we haven't, right? But we have storylines for days, so.
Well, I was thinking that, you know, in my head, that the Predator series is starting to go a different direction. And as you said, the Creeper has been around for thousands of years. So it would be really cool to actually see the Creeper in another time period and how he would try to blend in with that group of people and start killing them all.
Well, we did explore having the Creeper in different, you know, seeing him in different settings and different generations. We did explore that, yeah. Matter of fact, that storyline has been written. Yeah. Hadn't had a chance to shoot yet, so keep asking for more Creeper movies.
And make that buzz happen, people. Let's make that happen.
And then maybe they'll forget, you know, you know, as far as the new movie's concerned, I haven't seen it yet. But I was disappointed because, not because I wanted to be in it, although I would love to have been in it, to be honest. I was more disappointed because we've had 20 years of loyal fan base.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they deserve a good movie. They deserve it. They deserve our best. They deserve it to be done right. And so it's just disrespectful, I think, to the franchise to treat it in disrespectful to fans, right? So I'm hoping that we get an opportunity to do it the right way with people who understand what the right way is. That's another thing. It's hard to make a good horror movie. People don't, I say people, Hollywood doesn't understand that.
True, that is true.
It's really hard to make a good horror film. They think, throw a little bit of blood in there, throw a little TNA in there, you know, a little bit of cool special effects, and you got, boom, you got a horror film, right? That's why there's so many crap movies out there, you know? So I have a lot of respect for people who do it the right way. And Victor's one of the very, very best in my mind. So.
Well, hopefully we'll see that come to life. And if you get enough buzz on social media, we can make that happen. We can definitely make that happen. So, but, you know, it's been a pleasure having you up here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen that can hear us throughout the convention, please go and see him. Go and see Jonathan. Later on, he's going to do a photo op with the actual truck that he was driving and picking up people, you know,
1 o'clock.
at 1 o'clock. So if you're interested in getting those photo ops, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How long have you ever been wanting to see this truck? How often have you wanted to meet the Apple? Now you have both of them in the same spot. It's a perfect opportunity. Take advantage of it.
From one creature to another, man, that nose is impressive, dude. You can give him a profile here, a little ear wiggle. There you go. Thank you guys for coming. Appreciate it.